Hello and welcome to another video shot by your girl Esther Joy, coming at you with another video on this channel. We love to talk about love, light, joy, and peace. So if you, my friend, are one of those amazing light beings that are spreading these good vibrations all over the planet, then hit subscribe and join the Good Vibes Delivery family. Okay, so my friends, today I'm going to be discussing with you some of my spiritual awakening journey so far, what wild experiences have led me to realize that we are all one, and of course, what has caused me to realize what my life path is and why I started this channel and all of that fun stuff. But really, I'm sharing this because I'm sure I'm not the only one who has had these miraculous, supernatural things happen to, and I am so happy to be able to share this, okay? I'm very excited, so let's just jump into it. Okay, so back in, we'll just say January of 2019, I had cut out all social media because I realized it was just not good for me. Now, through that time, there was a 6 month period where I was just not using my phone and I was not hanging out with anyone. I had isolated myself from everyone I knew, all my friends and family. I spent a lot of time in my room alone, meditating. Beautiful, right? Yes. Hit a like if you can, find that relatable. Anyways, through that meditation, I was also dealing with an addiction at the time. I was smoking a lot of weed, and that I had noticed that there were times that during the times when I would be in that high, people would just mention, I would just catch it, they'd be talking to me and they say, "Oh, you're playing the game," or "It's a game." And that always stuck with me. I remember once my brother came into my room and he was like, "Okay, time to eat food." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "You're playing the game too, right?" And then he walked out. I later went to confront him about this. I asked him, "Hey, what were you talking about? What game?" Right? And he didn't remember. He didn't recall this at all. But I know what happened, or maybe it didn't. Maybe it was all in my mind. I'm not crazy, trust me. I'm just going through a spiritual awakening. Yeah, okay. For a very long time, I wasn't sure what game they were talking about. I literally Googled, what does it mean when someone tells you you're playing a game? And that did not help me at all. Needless to say, in this game of life, you don't get answers that simply. Now I know that they were talking about this reality, this life that we are living in. It is a game. It really is a game. I don't understand why it took so long for that to click, but when it did, I was like, holy shit. The reason why these people are telling me it's a game and they don't recall ever telling me that we're playing this game together, it's because it's a glitch in the game, I guess. It's a game. So that one was probably one of the most reoccurrent signs I got through my spiritual awakening, through 2019, and as I was waking up. I learned about the law of attraction earlier on that year, around February of 2019, and I was just like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. I didn't really think much of it, but I didn't really have to. Things just started literally attracting to me just because I was thinking about it so much, and more occurrences like that would happen where people would say something. I remember once I was at work And I held the door open for this man, and he looked me in the eyes and he said, "No one will understand what you are going through right now." And then he just kind of sighed and nodded his head and walked away. And I worked at a children's pool, teaching kids how to swim. I did not talk to this man. He was on the opposite side of the pool, I'm assuming watching his granddaughter or grandson swim. There are glitches in this game of life, definitely. I think the biggest ones that really got me, because it wasn't just a human interaction that was kind of triggering it, but it was when I was sitting down listening to Neville Goddard's, I think, The Power of Now. And that's a great, you can find it on YouTube, you can listen to the audiobook. I highly recommend. It's a very, very, very beautiful audiobook. Can you wait 1 second, please? Thank you. But this audiobook, at the end of it, I had a flash That's So Raven. And I was every single being in the universe at once. And the only reason I know this is because I felt it. I felt it. I was no longer in my body, I had an out-of-body experience just sitting down on my chair. And this was at the end of that Neville Goddard audiobook, at the last 30-40 seconds. And I just remember I was everyone. I was inside my neighbors' houses. I was them. I could feel what they were feeling. It was it was expanding. It was, I don't know how else to explain it, but I felt if I tilted my head, the whole universe would tilt its head, because we were all one. And it all just clicked, and I was yeah, we really are all one. We really are all connected, okay? I can't make this up. I really can't make this up. How I felt after that, well, I was disrupted. I zoomed back in, I could see myself, and I could see the door about to open. And that's at that moment when the door opened, I was disrupted, and I was brought back to this reality. And my mom showed me a poem I wrote when I was 12, and it said, I pretty much started it's just a lined piece of paper. Every line started with I am, I am, I am. And it pretty much, in the poem, I described how I was everything and nothing at all. And I don't even remember writing this poem, but I was pretty edgy back at 12 years old. I was homeschooled too. I had a lot of time on my hands, so I wasn't really surprised there, but I was just shocked at the time that it came at that exact moment when I had just literally felt every being in the universe at once. And then I get this poem which explains to me that I am everything. And I was all right, we are all one. This is what Jesus must have felt, okay? God bless, And I was just so thinking to myself, what do I do now with this information? Do I keep pretending none of this happened? I remembered, and this is the most vivid recollection I had of just standing on my carpet and being transported back to, I guess, whatever the material my carpet is made out of. I was a tree in a forest, and as I zoomed back into my body, I saw that I was the universe. I was the tiniest particle in the universe, but I was also the biggest particle in the universe. And it all just made sense. And whatever movement I did, it affected everything, because there was just one. That was mind-blowing, literally. when I realized all of this, I really didn't know what to do, so I started testing it out. YouTube was my best friend. The internet was my best friend. I would read, I would listen, and I would just try to absorb as much information as I could. I went to California for a seminar, and I, lost my phone. I dropped it in the toilet, and I did not know how I was going to get back home because I was alone in this Airbnb. I didn't know how I was going to get a taxi. But then I remembered the taxi driver gave me his number and a little piece of paper. So I asked someone if I could borrow their phone, and that's how I got home from this place. I was there alone, and I felt literally everything is working out so well. Everything is working out best case scenario. Everything is as it should be. I remember really in class, I'm researching telepathy a lot because I remember where I used to work. In my mind, I would say, okay, whoever needs ribbons, they're gonna ask me in 3, 2, 1. And then people will just raise their hands and be like, hey, Esther, I need ribbon. And then it wouldn't just be one person, it'd be 3 people. And I was like, okay, so yeah, this definitely works. Telepathy is definitely a thing. We are all really connected, a lot more than we may think. So I couldn't stay at my old job knowing all of this. I don't know where else I can work knowing all of this. So I decided that, I really want to help people experience what I experienced, because it is fucking insane. It will just change your mind. And obviously people have. And if you're watching this, then we are all one. And however you came about that, I would love to know in the comments down below. But yeah, that is my whole spiel with how I became awake. And I'm so thankful that it happened in the way that it has been happening. I can't make this shit up. It just is. And I realize that this life really is a beautiful, wonderful game. We are meant to play. We are meant to enjoy. We are meant to experience. And I am so thankful to be here with you now to share this transmission. And I'm so excited to know what the future holds for this earth, knowing all of this. Every day I wake up and I know everything is going to be okay. It's going to work out exactly how it needs to work out. Whether I see it as good or bad, it is ultimately perfect as it is. It is a paradox. This life really is. It is so wonderful. I am so thankful to be alive at this time. And I am so excited for what the future holds for our collective as a whole. If you liked today's video, then press that like button if you found any value in it. And of course, if you have any of your own insights, if you want to share your own stories in the comments down below, then feel free. I would love to read. I love connecting to you that way. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to stay updated when I post a new video. I post daily. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I love you. For you are me.